We got a Trump supporter. We got a Trump supporter right here.
Oh, he's putting it on the ground and he's making it worse. And now he's standing on it. Now he's standing on it. You're not supposed to stand on it. Oh, now I think he's saving it.
Whoa.
This guy was just like thanking them for.
What you just witnessed right there was the arrest of conservative journalist Nick Sortor, who did nothing but cover the fact that Antifa is destroying their own city of Portland, Oregon. He actually predicted this, though. He posted on X just a few days ago, "If I defend myself, I will be the one who gets arrested, not the assailant." I don't know how true he thought these words would actually come and how fast it would happen, but he posted this on October 2nd, and it's October 3rd. He got arrested later that night. In fact, maybe just a few hours after that. We have some coverage of it, though, from Colin Rugg. He said Nick Sortor successfully predicts his own arrest, gets arrested after defending himself from far-left extremists in Portland. He posted it. And then Sortor last night gets arrested for defending himself. Sortor was arrested and charged with disorderly conduct for defending himself after being swarmed by far-left radicals. Portland is a complete mess.
Just last night, we saw an extremely troubling incident where conservative journalist Nick Sortor was captured on video being taken into custody by the Portland police after he was ambushed by Antifa and was defending himself from these assaults. But instead of arresting these violent mob members night after night after night who are ravaging this community, the police arrested a journalist who was there trying to document the chaos, and everyone in this room should be extremely concerned about that. The Department of Justice spoke with that journalist this morning, and they will be launching a full investigation into his arrest. This incident is part of a troubling trend in Portland where left-wing mobs believe they get to decide who can visit and live in their city. It is not their city. It is the American people's city, and President Trump is going to restore that. I just spoke with the president about this, and he has directed his team here at the White House to begin reviewing aid that can potentially be cut in Portland. We will not fund states that allow anarchy. There will also be an additional surge of federal resources to Portland immediately, including enhanced CBP and ICE resources. Law and order will prevail, and President Trump will make sure of it.
You heard it right there from Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt. They are now calling Portland, Oregon, and any city like it that's going to allow anarchy to stand out. They're calling you out. Nick Sortor actually posted, and that's why I like this story so much, because it's actually Nick Sortor who's posting a ton on X himself. He says, "In response to my wrongful arrest in Portland, President Trump has ordered his staff to review federal aid to be cut in the city. We will not fund states that allow anarchy. This arrest is going to cost Portland leftists dearly." And I can say with certainty, this is about the time it's time to stand up. This has been going on for a long time. I'm still old enough to remember in 2019 or so when there was the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone. I believe that was in Portland, Oregon. It was maybe that or Seattle, Washington. Those two cities kind of go hand in hand, but Portland is where a lot more goes down. I would never go there if I could control myself to do so. But I mean, I still remember when Antifa was taking over blocks of the city and saying, no police, no any of this, no any of that, you're staying out. This time around, they're protesting against ICE, and I've shown you guys some videos before. Maybe I'll throw them up again for you to see again of Antifa actually fighting against ICE agents. You know what? Watch this. After seeing that, it's really clear to see why there are conservative journalists getting down there to say, hey, I need to start covering this, and why the federal government and President Trump is starting to stand up and say, all right, enough is enough. There is too much anarchy. There is too much violence. There is too much lawlessness of people that are peaceful, not even fighting. They're the ones getting arrested. I mean, there's even, look at this post here of Nick Sortor complaining about how somebody didn't get arrested, but he got a traffic ticket for parking where he shouldn't be parked for a certain amount of time. I think it was 9 minutes over. That's the type of law that they're enforcing right there. Well, now we are getting further into it. Pam Bondi has officially ordered a full investigation into Portland police after the false arrest of Nick Sortor. Attorney General Pam Bondi has ordered an investigation, yada yada, of the arrest of journalist Nick Sortor when he was in Portland covering Antifa-linked riots and protests at an ICE facility this week. Sortor announced the move on X, and there's the post right there. It's going to be led by Assistant Attorney General Harmeet Dillon, who a lot of folks are very familiar with, the Portland Police Bureau. Following my wrongful arrest last night, Bondi confirmed this personally to me. Nick Sortor then continues to say FAFO at Portland Police. If you don't know what FAFO stands for, you should look it up, because I'm not going to say it here. But my mama watches these videos. But they say FAFO Portland Police. Bondi personally called me to deliver this news, and I'm incredibly grateful to her doing so. The Trump DOJ will not allow Portland Police to continue to do the bidding of Antifa. Sortor added. Harmeet Dillon later posted confirming the investigation, and this is why I love all this. We actually have Tim Cast posting this saying, "I'm calling on the Trump administration to launch a legal challenge. Oregon has failed to uphold federal law." Harmeet Dillon just quote tweets that, or quote posts that, and just says, "On it." They're just so direct, so straightforward. I love it. And there's the recap of it. One of Fox News' people spoke to Sortor after he was released from jail on Friday morning, and reported he says he was getting video of protesters getting maced by federal agents, which was embarrassing video for them because they were crying. And he says they swarmed and surrounded him, pushed him down onto a flower bed, and someone threw a punch. Nick says he swung back and missed, then disengaged and walked over to a group of Portland police to say, hey, protect me, don't let them beat me, whatever. He says he was then shocked to be arrested by them, and he sat in the back of a police cruiser while officers figured out what to charge him with. I asked him about the female protester who was also arrested with him, and he said he talked to her in the jail and she didn't seem like she was the one that assaulted him. So it looks like one other person at least was arrested. So it wasn't only Nick, but the fact that Nick was arrested when he's very clearly dressed up like a journalist, he's got the camera, he's got everything, he's not holding up a stick or anything, he's not punching anybody, he's getting pushed down onto the ground, pushing people away, or at least motioning in a way that's going to get people to back off, and then going to the police and saying, hey, there's some stuff going down, I want to stay safe over here. That's what he's getting arrested for. The arrest of Sortor comes just days after the post-millennial's Katie Davenport was assaulted by an Antifa militant who struck her in the head. Take a look at this.
Wow, that is quite a shiner. You all right?
Oh, yeah, I definitely have a black eye. So that's what it's been like covering Portland for the past 4 months. Complete lawlessness.
Wow. So it's kind of like Chaz or Chop was in Seattle. They just, I guess, secede this territory, cede it to Antifa, and they just let everything play out?
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. So last night I got assaulted and I immediately ran to a Portland police officer, hunted down the suspect, chased her through the streets and said, this is my assault suspect. Can you guys finally do something? And I had eyes on her for about 35 minutes. Portland police refused to come in and make an arrest. And I had 3 officers just standing there watching me try to hunt down this suspect. And imagine my anger when I go online after doing all of that about an hour ago. And I see Portland police put out a bolo asking for the public's help in identifying my assault suspect. So that is what it's like on the ground here in Portland. And it's time for a federal crackdown. The Trump administration needs to start treating Antifa like ISIS, the terrorists that they are, and put an end to them here for good.
That story is truly, truly heartbreaking. And I don't want to harp on the social side of this too much, but Katie is a lady. We are not supposed to hit ladies. That's like the 100% truth. I don't know if Katie was hit by another lady. There are some ladies in Antifa here or there, but most of the time I'm expecting it to be your typical weirdo guys. You know who I'm talking about. The really skinny ones that are super like, yeah, F Antifa, F Nazi, or they're not saying F Antifa, they're saying F Nazis, F fascists, and that type of stuff. If it was one of those guys that hit Katie, I sure hope he gets his comeuppance, because I'm from the South. I was raised in Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia, and I know better. I know better to say, you don't hit a lady. You don't hit a lady unless, she's wailing on you and it's life or death, or she's attacking like your kids or something like that. And even then, it's more to separate. It's not to, disarm. It's not to do this. That's a lot. Anyways, let's read the article here. Reporter reveals black eye is allegedly from Portland Antifa protester hitting her with a flagpole. A journalist covering the complete lawlessness in Portland says she was hit with a painful black eye when a masked Antifa-affiliated protester whacked her in the face. Katie Davenport appeared on Fox News Wednesday with a big bruise under her right eye, suffered while covering the nightly protests outside an ICE facility in the long-troubled Oregon City. She said she was attacked Tuesday night by one of the Antifa-affiliated protesters who harassed, assault, and threaten anyone who they perceived to be a threat to their cause, including journalists, local residents, and ICE agents. And I mean, that's That's just pitiful right there. No good. That's what it's been like covering Portland for the past 4 months. Complete lawlessness, she told Jesse Waters, which was also the epicenter of the worst BLM riots in 2020. This Antifa-affiliated subject just started approaching me and waving a flagpole in my face, and then I kind of turned around, and that's when she swung it like a baseball bat and directly hit my eye. So there's the she. So, hey, ladies hitting ladies, that's, I guess, fair game. But also, bottom line, you're just really not supposed to hit people at all. I don't know. And then again, I mean, Katie is saying it was somebody masked up, so who knows? It could have been a lady or it could have been something else. Either way, swung it like a baseball bat and directly hit my eye, she told Real America's Voice host Jack Posobiec. The local police, she claims, refused to do anything to help. I immediately ran to a cop, hunted down the suspect, chased her through the streets, and said, "This is my assault suspect. Can you guys finally do something?" And I had eyes on her for about 35 minutes. Portland police refused to come in and make an arrest, and I had 3 officers just standing there watching me try to hunt down the suspect. Davis Court said she experienced complete lawlessness. I wonder if this image has anything to do with it. I'm not going to speculate too far, but this is a woman at the protest with a flagpole. I don't know. Who knows? There probably were a lot of women there with flagpoles. Either way, if that's the person, then, you know, again, it's still craziness. Don't do that. One of the department's dialogue liaison officers followed the suspect and confronted her. The dialogue officer attempted to talk to the suspect to hear her side of the story. She would not stop, so the DLO told her she was being detained. She refused the lawful police order to stop, and she fled. Police said they met with the victim and that the case is being investigated by major crimes. On Saturday, Trump announced he directed the Department of War, God, that is something, to send all necessary troops to Portland to protect the city and its ICE facilities from attack by Antifa and other domestic terrorists. I would say round of applause right there. This is something that's been on the rise recently of the domestic terrorism label on Antifa. And I'd say after everything that has gone down within the last month, it is even more deserved now than it was before, and I can say it's a good thing. Of course, though, the state of Oregon did file a lawsuit the next day to block Trump's plan to deploy National Guard troops to the city, so we'll have to see what happens. We'll have to see.
Well, good afternoon, and thank you for joining us, and also thank you to the friends and colleagues that are standing with me today. Appreciate you on such short notice coming out to show your support for Portland. I'll jump right in. President Trump has directed all necessary troops to Portland, Oregon. The number of necessary troops is 0 in Portland and any other American city. And let me repeat that. This is an American city. We do not need any intervention. This is not a military target. The president will not find lawlessness or violence here. I've been so deeply disappointed to see the footage from a half decade ago recycled and then recycled again. If President Trump came to Portland today, what he would find is people riding their bikes, playing sports, enjoying the sunshine, buying groceries or produce from a farmer's market, as the governor had noted.
I want to talk about the mayor of Portland, Oregon, Keith Wilson, who actually published a Time opinion piece, and he said Portland doesn't need or want federal troops. Oh, really? Because this was posted October 2nd, 2025. And need I remind you guys what the city was looking like October 2nd, 2025? I mean, take a look at this. Obedience does not equal patriotism, yada, yada. All these different people protesting and all of the police with their riot shields and everything having to protect the ICE facility where these folks are protesting. And I mean, just look at this. Look at this absolute mess. Perhaps few other cities, let me zoom in a bit. Might be too much. Have experienced the consequences of a fracturing American consensus as sharply as Portland. Our city has the largest perception gap between men and women, vastly disparate coverage by news outlets favored by the left and right, and too often a yawning chasm between national coverage and how we see ourselves. As mayor of Portland, I see an even more intractable and frustrating gap between what the president has said and what I see every day. He has called Portland a hellhole, war-ravaged. A controversial federal facility facing predominantly peaceful protests is under siege. This is giving me a flashback to in 2020 when they said fiery but mostly peaceful. So now we're escalating it to predominantly peaceful protests. I don't know how much of this looks predominantly peaceful to you, but not that much to me. Maybe I've got rose-tinted glasses, the opposite of it. Maybe I'm seeing things worse than they truly are, but I don't know. And that he'll do a number on our city with full force. There is no squaring these words with the Portland I see every day, a Portland of creativity and natural beauty, of kindness and compassion, and of community principles and purpose. To those of you who are most aggrieved by Portland, I would ask this. If you visited our schools, would you fund teachers or would you send troops? I don't know. You got pride flags in the classrooms with 6-year-olds? That's my question. If you drove our bridges, would you send engineers or would you send troops? If you saw our hospitals, would you support Medicaid or would you send troops? And this is the really funny thing right now because the government is actually currently shut down because Democrats are prioritizing continuing credits that allow illegal immigrants to gain access to Medicaid. As much as they want to say it's not happening, it's literally happening. But, whatever. Or would you send troops? If you worked with our homeless, would you send outreach workers and addiction specialists, or would you send troops? If you met with the daughters whose immigrant fathers, I can't keep going. I can't keep going. The federal government is retreating from its longstanding housing and economic responsibility to cities across the nation. This has left a leadership vacuum in a place of partnership for the future of Oregon's prosperity and freedom. Anyone willing to lend a hand to Portland has a seat at the table, including the federal government. We want them back at the table, the sooner the better. And I'm not going to continue it there, but I want to highlight how this guy is a complete and total hypocrite. He has his specific vision for what he wants the federal government to do and how he thinks that they can help. When we know for a fact that you can see the videos, you can see the people getting black eyes, you can see the ICE facility that is executing a mandate, executing the wishes of the American people to reduce the illegal immigration and get those that do not belong in this country, the criminals, out. And you're saying, oh, well, we want you to not defend that. Do not deploy the National Guard to keep peace in the city. Instead, send addiction specialists and other, people like that are so going to help out. I don't know. I can't put it into further words how asinine this thought process truly is. And it tells you everything about why Portland is the way it is now, because we continue, and by we, I mean they, continue to elect idiots. I'll leave it there. To Nick Sortor, I hope the legal issues get figured out soon. To the mayor of Portland, the National Guard will be seeing you even sooner. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this video. This was a fascinating story, truly. If you want to support my ability to keep bringing more stories like this right to your YouTube feed, then please make sure you hit the like button and subscribe for more content, as well as consider joining our channel membership program for early content and all sorts of other little goodies. If you want to directly support my ability to keep bringing content to you, then please make sure you hit up our donor box using the QR code on the screen or visiting the description and clicking the donorbox.org/support-channel link to consider a one-time or monthly donation to support the content. Aside from all that, I'll catch you next time, free thinkers. Don't forget to spread the virus of intelligence.